Welcome to tonight's event, Freedom is a Constant Struggle, Movement Intersections across Palestinian, Indigenous, and Black Struggles. We will be the moderators of this evening today. My name is Chandni, a member of the GSU BDS Ad Hoc Committee, and a member of Students Against Israeli Apartheid.
And my name is Misha. I'm a member of the GSU BDS Ad Hoc Committee as well, and a member of Independent Jewish Voices at U of T. So first, I'm just going to read our acknowledgement statement. So we want to acknowledge that this gathering is taking place on unceded Mississauga and Anishinaabe territory that has been home and hunting grounds to many peoples, including the Haudenosaunee, Wendat, and the Mississaugas of the New Credit. It is the territory of the one dish, one spoon treaty, which was made between the Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee in order to share hunting and fishing territories. What belongs to one belongs to all. We express our solidarity with the Indigenous peoples of this territory and their struggle for sovereignty against settler colonialism. So I'm going to read our equity statement now. The event tonight is co-sponsored by the GSU BDS Committee, SIA, Students Against Israeli Apartheid at U of T, and QP 3902's BDS Committee. The organizers of this event are committed to free speech and open dialogue. We are opposed to Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, and all other forms of racism and discrimination. All participation in this event must be in line with these basic commitments.
As the work of boycott and divestment is gaining momentum on campuses here in Toronto and globally, these events are sometimes the object of deliberate disruption. The aim of such disruptions is to silence, to shut down the event so that we who have gathered here cannot share and discuss ideas on how to hold our universities accountable to human rights and international law violations. So today, March 8th, marks International Women's Day. Today, Israeli forces killed a Palestinian woman at the gate of the Al-Aqsa Mosque in East Jerusalem. As well, at 1:30 a.m. Palestinian time, dozens of Israeli soldiers stormed the home of a high-profile activist working against the settlements and the wall, Manal Tamimi. Israeli soldiers raided Tamimi's home and detained her family in one room, while female soldiers took Manal to another room in the house, thoroughly inspected her, then kidnapped her. The Tamimi family is calling her kidnapping and administrative detention as, I quote, an Israeli gift to the Palestinian women on Women's Day, end quote. The settler colonial Zionist project in Palestine is a feminist issue against all forms of war and violence against women. In a statement released by Khalida Jarrar, an imprisoned Palestinian feminist, parliamentarian, and political leader from Hasharon prison on the occasion of International Women's Day, she says, I quote at length, "On this day, we affirm that we are Palestinian prisoners of struggle and part of the Palestinian women's movement, and that the national and social struggle goes on constantly and continuously until we win our freedom from occupation and our freedom as women from all forms of injustice, oppression, violence, and discrimination against women." On this day, Palestinian women mark this occasion in light of the crimes of the occupation against Palestinian women, children, elders, and youth. This year, our call focuses on the freedom and self-determination of our people and the freedom and self-determination of Palestinian women achieving equality and liberation. We stand as part of a global struggle with all the world's women freedom fighters against injustice, exploitation, and oppression. While Palestinians continue to fight against Israeli settler colonialism, occupation, and apartheid, on this side of the world, in Canada, their struggle for liberation has been undermined and outrightly condemned by the Canadian government. On February 23rd, 2016, the Canadian Parliament passed a motion that was introduced by the Conservative Party and passed a motion that condemned the growing international boycott, divestment, and sanctions campaign. While the Liberals were voted in to rid us of Harper's tyrannical policies on Palestine, the Liberals mostly supported the opposition's motion. The NDP voted against this measure, and the Bloc Québécois argued that the BDS campaign constitutes legitimate criticism of Israeli policies. This motion in Parliament was brought to the floor because one of the ways in which BDS is garnering mainstream support, in particular at university campuses across North America. Increasingly, student unions are raising debates on BDS and are attempting to pass resolutions or have already done so on campuses. On the day the Parliament condemned BDS, the McGill Undergraduate Student Union passed a resolution in support for BDS, which was later not ratified. McGill's principal, Suzanne Fortier, released a statement condemning BDS. However, faculty at McGill have written an open letter, very powerful open letter titled, "Not in Our Name," strongly disagreeing with Principal Suzanne Fortier's official response on behalf of McGill University's administration. And I encourage you to go and check that out online. Also, faculty support for divestment and BDS is increasingly growing over the country. Just yesterday, over 125 University of Toronto faculty announced their support for the U of T divestment campaign. And information on this can be found in the Varsity article, as well as the press release online. As well, the York Faculty Association announced endorsement of the YU Divest campaign at York University. So while those in power, government and university administrators condemn the struggle for Palestinian human rights and justice, people of conscience are increasingly supporting the Palestinian struggle for liberation in Canada and across the world, especially in South Africa. Our South African comrade that was supposed to be here tonight to speak was unfortunately not issued a visa to be here with us. And so in lieu of this, I want to share a message from our comrades in South Africa.
Hello to you, comrades in Canada. Receive heartfelt greetings from the boycott, divestment and sanctions movements against Israel in South Africa. Israeli Apartheid Week is an annual international series of self-organized events, including rallies, protests, cultural performances, films and workshops. Israeli Apartheid Week in South Africa takes place in over 45 South African towns and cities, in over 20 South African campuses. And this particular point of South African campuses is of significance to us. Last year, BDS South Africa, together with the South African Union of Students, started by going to the different student representative councils of the 23 South African universities. To date, 7 SRCs have adopted full academic and cultural boycotts of Israel. The campaign to go to the different SRCs and do face-to-face workshops and interactions and make a case as to why their SRCs must adopt full academic and cultural boycotts of Israel continue. This stems from the victory by the University of Johannesburg in terminating its relationship with Ben Gurion University in 2011, basically setting the tone for the academic boycott of Israel globally. Oftentimes people think that when we classify or characterize Israel as an apartheid state, we offend Black South Africans because of the history of apartheid in South Africa, and that is not the case. The 1973 United Nations Convention on the Suppression and Punishment of the Crimes of Apartheid gives a legal definition of what apartheid is, and we believe that Israel fulfills that definition. We challenge those who have a different view with our analysis that Israel is an apartheid state. They should come to our events during Israeli Apartheid Week and listen to us when we make a case as to why Israel is an apartheid state based on the legal definition provided by the United Nations. President Oliver Reginald Tambo, the longest-serving president of the African National Congress, went around the world from city to city, enlisting ordinary citizens on the ground in those cities, asking them to join the anti-apartheid movement that would later successfully isolate South Africa because of its apartheid policies. The boycott, divestment and sanctions campaign is basically asking the peoples of the world to do the same. And this starts with the International Annual Israeli Apartheid Week, which galvanizes support for the BDS movement. On behalf of BDS South Africa and the BDS South Africa team, we wish you well in your Israeli Apartheid Week, and we wish all your events that they become a success. The time has come as we usher in a second decade of BDS to strengthen Palestine solidarity, actions and activities across the globe until Palestine is free. Mandla.